Welcome in to NFL Daily here by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. And if you are just joining us in this mailbag edition of NFL Daily, it was right after our full live 3-round mock draft for the first time ever here at Chat Sports, where you guys were able to come on in and ask all of your questions during that draft. And we are going to get into those right away with our first question coming in just one moment. But first, make sure you like the video. It is completely free to do so. And, hey, it's like I said, not only is it free, but it helps us put more content like this on your feed. So all you got to do, hit that big thumbs up button and lock us in for more NFL content surrounding not only your favorite teams, but your favorite players. Coming in number one from John Rodriguez. His question says, which team should trade up in the first round if needed? It's funny you asked this question. So we've done a couple of videos here, not only on the NFL channel, but across Chat Sports about teams that need to trade up. Honestly, I don't think it's a great trade up draft. I think it's a trade down draft. But in the event that someone like the Jacksonville Jaguars takes Tyler Warren at 5, I think the Chicago Bears or maybe the New Orleans Saints could trade up and draft a player like Mason Graham to solidify their defensive line. I think it's, like I said, though, one of those situations where you probably want to draft back and trade down and gather more picks, simply because outside of the top 3 or 4 players, it's a really loaded depth draft class, but not necessarily a stud, star-powered draft class, if that makes sense. But, John, I really appreciate your question, and thank you so much for asking it. Coming in next from Andy. What are the main differences between the top 5 defensive tackles? What makes each of them stand out? So, Mason Graham is probably your most solid plug-and-play type of player. Walter Nolan is more of the traditional nose tackle that plugs the run the best. Derek Harmon, Kenneth Grant, those 2 guys are your solid interior players, guys that can get after the pass rusher and a 3 technique type of player. And I would say your 5th, I think you maybe want to call like a combo of Jalen Walker as an edge/defensive end. Most of those guys, though, are going to be guys that plug a specific type of the field and are good against the run that have also pass rushing capabilities. So I don't necessarily think you're looking at a player that can get after the quarterback the best or can stop the run the best, but they do a little bit of both of those things at an elite level. Austin, who's the most slept on running back in this year's draft class? A guy who is projected to be a day 3 pick, who could be a star. Thank you for asking this. RJ Harvey out of UCF. This dude, certified stud. Everyone sleeps on him because he played at UCF and the talent that was around him wasn't that great and the talent he played against wasn't that great. RJ Harvey has got all of the traits you're looking for. He's got the patience to find his hole. He's got the speed and the burst to get through that hole at an elite level. He's got good hands, not great hands, but good hands, and lateral quickness to make guys miss. So he's got the bag, he's got the speed, he's got the patience, he's got the vision. What more do you want from this guy? And by the way, his production, outstanding. At over 20 touchdowns last year at UCF. So I'm all in on RJ Harvey. Think he's a beast from UCF. Take a look at this guy. Oh, gorgeous. Can't wait to see who he lands on. But for whatever reason, nobody likes him in the 4th or the 5th round. In fact, I've seen a lot of people saying he could go as far as the 6th. So thanks for asking your question, but it's RJ Harvey for sure. John again. What do you think about Xavier Restrepo? Listen, combine numbers don't tell the whole story. Pro days don't mean everything. But with that being said, you have to be athletic enough to play the position. And although he had some production at Miami last year, his test numbers were awful. So I don't think he's a day 1 or day 2 pick. In fact, if he does go day 3, he's probably a 7th round pick. He's not going to be a number 1 or a number 2, and maybe not even a number 3. He'll probably end up being a really good 4 or a low-end 3 for a team. So, unfortunately, I'm not high on Xavier Restrepo, although I think the consensus that he can't play is probably a little bit, outlandish. I don't like that take at all. I just think he's going to be an NFL journeyman wide receiver who probably won't have the longest career. From Guy Dude, what's an under-the-radar pick in the 4th or the 5th round? Somebody that I didn't see take being taken at all in our mock draft. Tory Horton, wide receiver out of Colorado State. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Tory Horton. I can't believe nobody's on top of this guy like they are. I think it's because it's a weak wide receiver class. Now, he got injured in 2024, so don't pay any attention to those 2024 stats. He got injured, and that's probably another reason why he's so low. Take a look at 2022 and 2023. 71 receptions, 96 receptions, over 1,100 yards, found the end zone both times with 8 in those respective years. He's a big play receiver. He's got excellent route running capabilities, silky smooth off the break. He's got great hands. He was a center fielder on his high school baseball team, so he understands those fluid leg movements that you would need to beat players off the line of scrimmage. I love Tory Horton as a prospect. Like, truth be told, I think he could be a starting wide receiver 2 tomorrow in the NFL. But he played at Colorado State. He's coming off of an injury and has not a loaded wide receiver class. For those reasons, I think people are kind of sleeping on him. And speaking of sleepers, who's your sleeper in this year's draft? I'm going to say Tory Horton. Another guy that I'm going to say is Tyler Booker. But who do you think is the sleeper of this year's draft? I'm going to make this the pinned comment of today's video. Make sure you go down and mark that down in the comment section below. I want to see as many replies to this comment as possible. Now, we're going to get to more questions here in just a second. But first, I have to tell you about our friends over at Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets so much easier. Fast, easy, especially with playoff basketball going on. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. Save up to 60% off by buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy events, and theater events. Download the Game Time app. Super easy. All you have to do, find the black box with the white G, and use code CHATSPORTS, that's CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. From Renz Major, what do you think the Commanders' biggest need is in the draft? Probably a corner. I've seen Ezra Thomas being mocked to them. I've seen Maxwell Harrison being mocked to them. They did a really good job in free agency addressing not only their offensive line, but their weapons problem. They got Deebo Samuel. There's a lot of things that they need, including an edge, but the truth is it's mostly on defense. So edge, safety, cornerback, maybe another wide receiver, maybe. I mean, if you just take a look at what their free agency consisted of. They've got 5 total picks, 2 in the top 100. You can go out and get a really solid cornerback one to pair. Who did they trade for? Marshawn Lattimore. That's the guy that they got in the trade deadline last year. So Marshawn Lattimore is now on the team. He's a really good corner as well. So a cornerback for sure. But if you're not going to go corner, safety or edge, maybe a guy like Nick Eamon-Wari or Donovan Ezaraku out of Boston College. John, will Jiad Campbell be a linebacker or an edge in the NFL? I'm so happy you asked this question, John. He can be both. He's got the skills to do both. Jiad Campbell is a stud. Middle of the linebacker ball skills, but also the ability to get after the quarterback at the edge. Why can't he be both? Why can't he be a hybrid style linebacker where you drop him back in pass coverage and he attacks and plays the middle of the field, but when you need to on third down and send an all-out blitz, send a house at him. Let him get after the quarterback. He's got the swim moves. He's got the ability off the edge, the size, the speed, the strength you're looking for. I don't know why more people aren't high about him right now. In our most recent mock draft, he went to the Colts, and I thought that was great to pair alongside Zaire Franklin. So I'm high on Jiad Campbell. I'm glad you are too. But I think to answer your question, it could absolutely 100% be both. Dorito Man. Who will TJ Watt be traded to? How much time do you got? Honestly, I've seen a lot of people say the Titans could go after him. The Bengals could go after him. I've even seen some for producer one on the 1-2s today, Chip. I've seen him go to the Phillies. not the Phillies, the Eagles. I apologize. The Phillies. Yeah, he doesn't play baseball. But I think if I were to stake my claim in it right now, I'm going to go with the Patriots. They're still number one in cap space in the NFL. They could use an edge defender like a TJ Watt, although their defense is actually still pretty good. I think that just adds the cherry on top of what is already a pretty delicious cake there in New England on the defensive side of the ball. So give me TJ Watt right now as it stands to the New England Patriots. This one comes from Andy. Is James Bradberry toast? I love that. Is he toast? Or does he still have gas left in the tank? He's still got some gas left in the tank. I know he's getting old up there, but the truth is he's a hell of a player. Yeah, I think he's got some juice left in the tank for sure. And look, I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is part of the NFL that I absolutely hate, is watching good players get old and kind of take a dip. I'm not going to say he's the same player that he once was, but the truth is he's still got a little bit of gas left in the tank for sure. Staying on, Andy. When you see a 5th, 6th year senior, does that mean they redshirted for 2 years due to a season-ending injury? Not always. So it's been different, especially with the COVID years. They basically got a free year in COVID. So once 2020 hit, the NCAA said, hey, we recognize this is all wonky-dory. We'll give you an extra year. And the transfer portal also can extend your college career as well. So we are seeing players that are 7th-year seniors that are like, 25 years old? Tyler Shuck's one of them. I mean, these guys transfer. They go play somewhere else. They got that extra year of eligibility that they can play with. It's crazy to see what happens. So it's not always that they redshirted or that they got injured. Sometimes that is the case. But with the extra COVID year, that can also add that as well. So to answer your question, yes, but no, if that makes sense. All right, let me ask you this question. Who's your favorite prospect in this year's draft? Give me Mike Green on this one. I think Mike Green's my favorite prospect in this year's draft. I think he's going to be a stud for whatever team he lands on, but that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comment section down below. That's going to do it for us on today's episode of NFL Daily. Remember to get in the chat below, like the video, subscribe. It is completely free, and we will see you next time.